UC Santa Barbara comes in as the number 15 team in the country. Depends on which poll you look at. We're looking at USA Today, but this should be a pretty fun one in terms of looking at how their batting order stacks up. Xavier Esquer will be at third, Jonathan Mendez, and then Jack Holman, our player to watch at the top of the broadcast. Isaac Kim be in the cleanup spot. Nate Vargas is their designated hitter. Ian Fernandez is catching. Latrey McCollum is getting the start in center field. Jeremiah Crane is in right field. Ori Nunez is at short. USC lining up defensively in an alignment that slightly changed. Adrian Lopez is in left, and it's Dowd and Osborne left to right in the outfield. Hedges, Martin Gruzelanek, Covarrubias, and Carpentier left to right in the infield. And Tejeda getting the start as the catcher. The battery mate for the starter today, and it is Jackson Baker. And Andrew Baker's looking for one of those starts on a Tuesday night that can really get him going for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you know, he's someone where he pounds the strike zone. 70%, give or take, is going to be with his fastball. It's in the 90s, and it has a little bit of sink to it as well. So when he gets going, I mean, he's had so far a pretty decent season, only 4 innings pitched so far, so really hasn't done a huge amount. 3 1/3 was against George Washington earlier this year, gave up 2 hits and 4 runs during that, but you know, did have 2 strikeouts, so he's had his moments, but this will be the first very legitimate lineup that he's seen so far in the Gauchos.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Alabama, a sophomore, and that George Washington game you mentioned is the only other start of the season, and that was back in the first weekend of the season, so now we're here in March. That was in mid-February, so maybe a little bit of growth. Did have that relief appearance against Rice in between. So let's see how Baker attacks this UCSB batting order. Starting off with Xavier Esquer. Starting from the stretch, and the first pitch is fouled away. We are underway here from Page Stadium.
Esquer so far this season, batting .298 so far, with 14 hits and 9 RBIs. 3 home runs as well to his name.
That's called strike 1. Or I should say strike 2. 0-2 to Esquer, the redshirt sophomore. He's a transfer from Arizona. Oh-2 coming. Just missed.
That's one that's just on the outside. That's a risky take if you're Esquer up there. That's a tough 0-2 to look at.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Taking that one and fouling it away. Esquer did have a home run on Friday, but is looking to just set the table here as the first batter of the game.
Just good job to keep battling here. Start the pitch count to get it up. That's your job as the one hitter.
Seeing a good amount of pitches. Actually saw that one nick him. Yeah, right on the, I think, forearm, was it?
He didn't get all of them with that one, for sure. Barely grazed him, but man on first either way. So UCSB already with chance, no outs, man on first. That's a good way to start. You want your leadoff guy out on the base path just to get something going, anything in the first inning.
So that brings up Jonathan Mendez. So first batter hit by the pitch. And now first pitch to Mendez. Gets away from the catcher, Tejeda. Score that a wild pitch, and that will be the reason why there's a runner in scoring position for UCSB to get things going here in the first. We're just getting started as Jackson Baker's trying to regroup on the mound.
Started with 2 early strikes and hasn't really been able to pinpoint the zone at all except for a foul ball after that.
I think that's a balk, and that will be another base advancement. Esquer goes from second to third. Just a twitch of that back leg little hesitation, and now catcher and pitcher having a little meeting on the mound, as it is just a little bit of a rough start for Baker, though no runs have come in yet.
Yeah, Tata probably just going out there to calm him down. Just slow down. We're all right. It's just there's man on third. We have a long game ahead of us, full 9 innings, so not to worry. We'll just get him on the next pitch.
Still 1-0 at the plate. Fouled away. So the right-handed batter, Mendez, from Los Angeles, J. Sarah Catholic High School, had a pretty good weekend. Went 2 for 4 on Friday, a couple of doubles. Fouled away again, 2 strikes on him.
A little bit on top of the ball. You've seen 2 of those in a row where he's just fouled it back into the left, so maybe a little bit late as well on that, which, I mean, if you're pitching here, you keep the speed up. You don't want to slow things down because then that equals a barrel.
1-2. Grounder to the left side, and it is through into left field. And that scores the first run for the Gauchos. So base running takes advantage of opportunities. And UCSB up 1-0, nobody out.
That was Mendez's 9th RBI so far this season on that single. So starting things off early for the Gauchos. Just punching one down and out. Maybe looked like some sort of slider or cutter, so kept the speed up, but just didn't get it below the barrel.
First pitch to Jack Holman. Player to watch. Looking at ball 1. Holman, a left-handed bat. And with the way that saw his teammates get on base and then drive in ahead of him, he's got a pretty big opportunity here. Nobody out, 1 on.
He's normally someone you see over at first base. Today, getting the start out in left field doesn't change much for him when he's inside the batter's box. This guy hits for power. He hits the ball real hard.
1-1 misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's all started with a hit-by pitch on the first batter of the game, though that was really just in the middle of a pretty good at-bat. Esquire had fouled off a couple of pitches, and Baker just missed his spot and kind of glanced a ball off the forearm. And all of a sudden, UC Santa Barbara kind of showing why they're the number 15 team ranked in the country. They were just able to pounce on those mistakes. Now a ground ball to the right side. Could be a double play. Score it just a 3-6 force play. And 1 out is recorded.
Tough play for Baker to get all the way from the mound over to first base on that one. It's just a tough PFP, but you should keep looking to get ahead in these counts. Put the pressure on the hitters. As able to see it one more time. Holman talked about him being a power hitter. This time just chops one over to first. See him pull a lot of balls. That will be for sure, as everyone will be ready out in right center field.
Isaac Kim now. Kim's getting the start at first base, as we were talking about Holman. Normally those everyday first base starts. Kim now waits with Holman on at first, and it's a fly ball to center. Tracking it down, Braden down, and it actually just drifts over the wall. And a home run. Boy, Isaac Kim showing the power, and it's a 2-run home run, 3-0 UC Santa Barbara.
Not only is that his first home run of the year, that's his first extra base hit so far of the year as well. Averaging 370 this year, and that ball just kind of keeps going and going and going, and finally lands over the fence. And UCSB just up early. You see a ball that's left kind of just right down the pipe, right down the middle. And That was just Baker kind of whips over, and I think he knew that one was gone pretty quickly. Hard to see it from where we are. Is kind of just looked like it was hanging and out in center field. Dowd looked like he was tracking it down, but certainly not, I guess.
So how about Isaac Kim driving it over that right center field wall? Straightaway center is about 400 feet away as a check swing squibs it over to third. Hedges able to make the play, and there are 2 outs. So a quick recovery from Jackson Baker, though 3 runs have come across here in the top half of the first inning.
In my keys for the game, I talked about UCSB trying to force it into a pitcher's duel. You know what's one better than a pitcher's duel? Just scoring so many runs that you can't make it into a pitcher's duel. Just keep it out of that area and just keep letting them fly and try to extend these innings for as long as you can. I mean, that hit by pitch, it looks like everything was kind of in Baker's favor until he had hit that batter, but then things kind of compiled over and over again, those innings that get extended. I mean, we've seen it before in past MLB games. If you look at Yankees against the Dodgers late as well, those innings that just keep on going.
1-1 now to Ian Fernandez, the catcher for UC Santa Barbara.
Batting .250 so far for the Gauchos. One of the few people that's not batting up into the high 2s or low 3s.
That one called for a strike. Catching the outside corner is Jackson Baker. Just trying to get out of this first inning. 1-2. 2-2.
If you're Baker, you really just have to calm down right now. Just eliminate anything after this and just go for one pitch at a time. Hit that strike zone and make them make you pay.
Swing and a miss. And that'll do it for the top half of the first inning. So the 1 strikeout ends the inning for Jackson Baker, but he does see 3 runs cross, partly in thanks to a 2-run home run. And the Trojans will have a shot offensively in the bottom of the first inning. Try to answer off of Isaac Kim's 2-run shot on Big Ten Plus right after this. In the field, and we'll get to their starter, Nathan Aceves, as USC's offense looks to get going, trying to answer an early 3-0 deficit. Trojans bring in a lineup that, well, a little bit of a mix-up, but mostly the same, at least at the top part of the order. Trojans will have a couple of their experienced and really main offensive contributors. We can take a look at their batting order. Braden Dowd will lead it off. The first baseman will be one of those that you'll see every day at the top part of the order. Even though he is a first baseman, it is kind of one of those things where he does have the spin and he does have the capability to be the table setter for USC.
Yeah, absolutely. Batting .310 so far this year. He's who you want as a leadoff hitter because, I mean, he gets on base. It's really as simple as that. .414 on base percentage. Doesn't strike out as much as other people in this Trojans lineup sometimes do. And, you know, sometimes he's able to get those home runs. Two home runs so far this season.
Can also talk about the starter for UC Santa Barbara in Nathan Aceves. The right-hander is getting a start today, and it kind of seems like, being that all his other appearances are out of the bullpen, it's going to be a bullpen game. Pitch is high. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dowd.
I think the Gauchos are kind of fine with it really being a bullpen day. You can't go with your starters every single time. Give them a rest, especially, I mean, it's a Tuesday, right? So it's a little bit different from those series that happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's against the Trojans, who are an unranked team. They're still good, but, you know, if you ever want to have a bullpen day to rest up your starters for the weekend, this would be now.
That one misses. So 3-1. Hitters count for Braden Dow. Sev is a true freshman from Huntington Beach. That one misses. There's a leadoff base runner, so it sort of mirrors to how UC Santa Barbara's offense started the day.
Yeah, he's someone who draws walks just all the time. 34 walks now to those 28 strikeouts, but just getting on base and avoiding those base running issues as the Trojans is really going to be huge in this matchup. They've put up a huge amount of runs before in the first inning. If you remember back, they had 10 against George Washington all the way back in the season opener. So they're not really too worried about this 3-run deficit.
First pitch to Ethan Hedges fouled away. Braden Dowd taking a lead off at first with Ethan Hedges at the plate, the third baseman for USC.
Talked about it earlier. Hedges with 11-game hit streak right now. He's someone who you always kind of want in the batter's box if you are a Trojan. And doubled his home run total from last year, which, wasn't a massive amount from 1 to 2, but doubling, it still is doubling. So an increase in output from him, and overall batting .419 right now.
Throw over to first. Just having a look at Dowd. See the type of lead Dowd is taking on at first. Pretty medium-sized lead, not looking like he's going. And there's no reason to with Ethan Hedges being hit by the pitch. So now each starter has hit a batter in the first inning, and it's an opportunity now for USC.
Yeah, it's going to be capitalizing on those opportunities. It's really what it's about. You have a man in first and second if you are a Trojan here. So it's going to be capitalizing on these opportunities, not hitting into those double plays that really just ruin innings, because that puts someone on third, but you don't really have the sac fly option to get him across, and you're hoping that you hit a gap somewhere in the outfield.
Very similar chat to what we saw a half inning ago, but now it's a Gaucho catcher in Fernandez going out there to calm his starter down in Aceves.
Right, and I think it is a very similar chat where it's literally just, hey, we're all right. It's a man on first and second. We get a double play ball, and we're pretty much out of this.
First pitch inside to Bryce Martin Grizzolonic.
I think that's definitely a purposefully placed pitch. They're definitely going to go inside right after they hit someone and just really command the batter's box and try to back them away, because then they could go outside.
Going the other way, flying it to deep right field. It is off the wall, extra bases, and everyone's going to hold up, as maybe the lead runner in Dowd had kind of held up, seeing if the right fielder Crane was able to get under it and make the catch. So it ends up being a very long single.
Yeah, much like the home run from Isaac Kim earlier, that ball just kind of floats and stays up there, and everyone kind of has to hold to see if they have to tag, and turns out not. You even see Grudzolonic. He's halfway to second base there. He thinks he's getting a double. He's ready for the double, but 12-game hit streak now, no matter what.
Swing and a miss there. Dean Carpentier up at the plate. So now the bases are full of Trojans.
And someone who doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of RBIs in Carpentier is currently up at the plate, but what a better time than now to start logging those. Only 2 RBIs on the season and 3 extra bases in general. He's a guy that walks quite a bit, though.
Check swing, actually a foul tip on that check swing, so you don't have to either make a call if you're an umpire As to whether he went around or not. Hit the bat. It's a foul ball. In that case, it was a straight-up strike since catcher was able to make the squeeze, and now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded opportunity for Carpentier. Strike 3 is called, and a big first out for Nathan Aceves.
Looked like a high breaking ball that just caught the top end of the plate, but if you're Carpentier, you got to be wanting to swing. It's bases loaded. This is what you think about when you're a kid. Let it fly. See what you can do. No outs at that time. Get one to the outfield at least. Oh, yeah, high breaking ball that catches that top corner. But at least try to get one to the outfield, see what happens. Put one to the opposite side and see if you can get a run across.
That brings up Augie Lopez well inside. Dipped out of the way of that. And it's 1-0.
Augie Lopez, 429 so far this season. So another hitter that has a high average and, you'd think a decent chance to get on base here. But now if you're the Gauchos, double play ball it ends it. You don't have to worry anymore, and you get out of this inning with no damage done.
Chopper, this could be the double play they're looking for. 4-6-3. And how about a double play to end the inning, and it prevents a USC run from coming across. Big end to the inning for Nathan Aceves as he gets out of the big jam. 3-0. We go to the second. Following the double play, Gauchos able to tiptoe around trouble on Big Ten Plus. Goes baseball. Nathan Aceves toeing the rubber for his second inning of work. And he will work the number 6 hitter, actually 7 hitter, LaTroy McCollum.
He's someone that also is slightly below the 250 mark, 244 so far this season, but has a home run and 3 doubles to his name.
Chops it to the right side, and that'll be 3 unassisted. 1 out.
That's a good sight if you're Baker, just to see that, okay, everything's calm now. We don't have any ducks on the pond just yet to worry about. He started the inning last time with a hit by pitch, and then things went very awry quickly after that with that home run that really made it to this 3-run lead for the Gauchos.
1 out, nobody on, and Jeremiah Crane, the right fielder, stepping in. 1-0. That one just misses. 2-0 to Crane.
Hasn't at bat so far against this season against Fresno State. Struck out in that at bat, but hasn't had any other. This is the only other time that he's been to the plate other than that.
Fouled away. You see the little cage face mask like on in front of the helmet. Crane electing to do so. Added protection. Swing and a miss there. It's 2-2.
And Crane coming over from Tacoma Community College. Over there, he was pretty solid. Slugged .468 and was on base 37% of the time.
From Tacoma, Washington. Now the junior looks at ball 3. Full count.
Really don't want to give this one away if you are Baker right now on the mound.
Fouled away. 3-2.
That's what you really want if you're batting in this order, is just to raise the pitch count more and more. Try to get a new arm out there and switch things up, and just battling, especially if it's your second at-bat so far this season. Really just keeping things alive.
3-2 offering again, and it is to second. Easy play, and it's 2 outs. So, Jackson Baker seeing that hit by pitch end up kind of snowballing into 3 more runs for UC Santa Barbara in that top of the first inning. Now gets to start with 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Yeah, some pitchers settle down. I mean, you definitely don't want to see a pitcher need 3 runs before they decide to settle down, which is the case here. But right now it's so far working, I guess.
Bunt shown and pulled back. This is Corey Nunez, number 9 hitter for the Gauchos. Shot Baker. 1-1.
Nunez played quite a bit this year for being the 9 hitter, batting 158, which might be why he is the 9 hitter, but has a few hits to his name, 6 hits so far, 2 RBIs.
Up the middle, that is a base hit. Right as you say it, on cue, Nunez able to turn that lineup card over back to the top of the order for UCSB.
Which is, if you're USC, able to see this one just sent right back next to the leg of Baker. That's huge if you're the Gauchos. Now you get to the top of the order. Esquire up, so he started with a hit by pitch in that long first at-bat that we saw.
So 2 outs, 1 on. That one in there. 0-1 to Xavier Esquire. Baker not paying too much attention to the runner on at first as he goes. And there's a stolen base. A little bit of defensive indifference to Heda. Did have the ball on his right hand, hesitated to throw, just ended up eating it.
Yeah, didn't really look back at all. I mean, you kind of said it, not paying attention over there really at all to Nunez. Not really sure exactly why. I would have loved the force out if you're SC.
So now 2 outs, a runner in scoring position for UC Santa Barbara. Pitch fly to left field. Should be playable for Adrian Lopez as he's able to make the catch. And that'll do it for the top half of the second inning. So 1 runner does get on via a base hit. That's about it. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still 3-0 UC Santa Barbara over USC. Trojan Bats coming up next on Big Ten Plus. Here with us on this Tuesday evening here at Page Stadium. You can see, behind the plate, it is LMU's campus. Of course, USC will be trading home stadiums throughout this year. The renovations at Dato Field will be there next year. We'll be there soon, really. Adrian Lopez in left field, making the catch to end the top half of the inning. And, of course, bringing up the bat to start the bottom half. There is strike 1.
136 hitter. Not necessarily ideal, slugging 227. He has 2 doubles, so out of his 3 hits, 2 of those are extra base hits.
Check over to first, and it is strike 2 called on the check swing from Adrian Lopez.
This week, batting 3 for 11, but before that was 1 for 17. So I guess on a hot-er streak, I wouldn't say it's necessarily boiling hot, but definitely warmer than it was before.
That one in the dirt. So Aceves back out there for his second inning of work, was able to tiptoe around. Bases loaded. Nobody out situation, and Lopez gets hit. So the second hit batsman from Aceves.
Yeah, that one came in with some pace also. That one was high and inside. I guess got away from him and just gets him right in the shoulder blade. The top left corner of that 5. But base runner on board either way. Ooh, maybe more on the tricep, but so far UCSB been pitching USC inside quite a bit so far.
That one in there to Dylan Osborne. Right fielder, batting left-handed here. Adrian Lopez, pretty good speed on at first, and he is picked off. He thought he was safe. You can see him kind of look with the maybe shocked face. Let's see here.
Oh, so hard to see. We got base coach's head somewhat in the way, but see, he's not going to want to review it. But when I was talking about avoiding those base running issues in my keys to the game for SC, I think that's, if we could have replayed that and shown it in the beginning of our broadcast, that's what I was saying to avoid. So USC gets something going in this inning, and then as soon as they do, poof, it's gone.
1-2 now at the plate to Dylan Osborne.
This season so far, 3 appearances, but, or excuse me, only 1 at-bat so far. That was a strikeout against Rice.
Osborne working the count at 2-2. Transfer from Washington. Grounds it to third. All of a sudden, from a leadoff base runner to 2 outs, nobody on in the inning in a matter of a few pitches.
Just not what you want if you're USC. You now have your 8-hitter in, Covarrubias, who isn't necessarily the worst person in the order. 37 at-bats, 10 hits. So batting 280 is tries to lay down a bunt, but you know where he is big is in the field. He hasn't made an error so far this year, which is a major improvement from last year when he had 17. So that's where he's really shined so far, improvement-wise.
Speaking of second base, second baseman grounds out to second baseman, as that'll end the bottom of the second. Let's go to the third. 3-0 UC Santa Barbara. It is Nathan Aceves starting to cruise a little bit, able to get a 1-2-3 inning in a way. Of course, getting some fortunate 3 and 4 due up for UCSB, as they are facing a new pitcher on the mound for the Trojans, Andrew Johnson, 6'3" true freshman. First arm out of the bullpen for USC, as Jackson Baker goes 1 turn through the order and turns it over to Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, 3 innings pitched so far during this season. A lot of them were just 1 batters. He's gotten through a third a few times, but 2 single innings against UC Irvine at the beginning, and then 1 in that series at the very, very beginning, the opening series of the year against George Washington. But up 2 hits so far and only a run. 7 strikeouts to his name, so definitely someone, if it's a bullpen day, that you want out there.
Ball 1 on the just off the outside edge. Johnson from San Juan Capistrano sees that one go to deep center field over the head of Dowd and to the wall. Extra bases for Jonathan Mendez. And there's a leadoff stand-up double.
And suddenly Jonathan Mendez as well, 2 for 2 on the day. Had a single out through the gap of short and third before, and now this one bombs it out to the left field. So the pull hitter is really getting his legs under him so far this season. That's his 4th double in the past 4 games so far. So he's been someone that's been doing great for this Gauchos, and to lead him off for this inning, that's huge to get someone out on second.
Top 4 hitters, this Gaucho order, were the ones that produced those 3 runs in the first inning. As Jack Holman back up now with an RBI opportunity out there at second base.
Holman, the player to watch. I mean, played at UCLA for 3 years. There he was slugging .466. And that's only really gotten better so far, as he's .538 as a Gaucho. So just someone who's constantly swinging and wants to get on base.
0-2 now. Holman, remember, grounded into a fielder's choice. USC tried to turn 2. Ended up being pretty important that they couldn't turn 2, because the next batter hit that 2-run home run, as there is ball 1.
And trying to get Holman to swing up at eye level. Someone who likes to hack, sometimes you can get that, but Holman's a lot smarter than that. He's a veteran. He knows he doesn't want any of that. He knows where his wheelhouse is.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was a good breaking ball there. Able to tunnel that high fastball with some sort of curveball that drops below the zone. 2 pitches that, coming out of the hand, look really similar, but end up in drastically different places in the zone.
Oh, trying to catch the inside corner, could not do so. And all of a sudden, Holman has worked it to a full count.
That pitch as well, a slider. It all tunnels so perfectly, where 3 pitches, 1 comes in on you, 1 drops, and 1 stays high.
3-2. Ball 4. Good work at the plate from Jack Holman. And now Isaac Kim. Remember, he had that 2-run home run back in the first inning. Coming up.
We were talking about him before the game, how I was excited to see him get out there and hit it hard. I mean, no home runs this year. It's a bomb on the last one, as it kind of just kept slicing and slicing out toward deep right center field, out toward that American flag. And 914 OPS this year. Just been huge.
Outside, and it's 1-0 to Isaac Kim. Shout out D3 Baseball. Transfer from Pomona Pitzer.
The Sage Hens.
Yes. From the SCIAC Conference.
Speaking of Sage Hens, batted .383 there. There's a reason that he's up now with the Gauchos, is because he played so well down there and continued it. .370 out here now.
Two and 1. Andrew Johnson trying to work around 2 base runners to start the inning. 1 with a double, 1 with a walk. Nobody out. That one catch in the corner. 2-2.
Good pitch there. Slider that kind of kept going away from the hands of Kim. It was some sort of fastball earlier that he hit out. So probably trying to avoid any high-speed pitches.
Dropping that one a little too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Should the bases get loaded, it would be Nate Vargas, the designated hitter, up next.
Now you're in somewhat of a dangerous position if you're Johnson because you know he hit the heater last time out, but it is 3-2.
Turning and throwing a second would be an opportunity to reset on the mound.
Which is huge with this pitch clock coming in. Being able to get that reset. If you feel sped up, especially in a 3-2 scenario like this, just turn and look back and just get a reset on it.
Still a full count at the plate. The offering. Breaking ball. Popped in the air. Stays in the infield. Runner was going towards second, but nobody was able to cover first in time because both Carpentier, who made the catch, and Covarrubias, the second baseman, were converging in on that blooper.
But it's an out either way. Those are sometimes the hardest ones when it's in between absolutely everyone and they're all kind of running over to it. Look at that. Good play from Covarrubias to just get out of the way, bail, realize, and trust Carpentier to pick up that ball. His first baseman there got priority. So smart to just get out of there and not cause any confusion.
You know what? I didn't see it at the time. I do think home plate umpire called infield fly. Didn't know if it was high enough at the time, but guess it was. So there was no real need to cover either second or first after the catch was made. Just maybe for a tag that would have to have been applied.
You know, they're holding on Mendez way back there. They've picked off twice now. No stolen bases for him this year, and I don't think he'd be going, but still keep looking him back. Maybe trying to stop it if it's a ball into the outfield for him to score and keeping him closer to the bag in that sense, but 0-2 here. Got to attack on Vargas, who grounded out earlier in this game, but don't want to let him battle back into this count.
That one just missing. 1-2.
Another guy on this Gauchos just hits the ball so hard. 364 average this season.
Turn and throw. This one more of a purposeful pickoff. Runner on second is still Jonathan Mendez. Pretty aggressive lead off at second. At least too aggressive for Andrew Johnson not to pay attention to. That one pretty high and inside, almost grazed Vargas.
Another time we've seen a pitch come. Both of these teams look like they're attacking the inside corner quite a bit. I think partially because Vargas is all over the plate right now. Try to maybe back him up a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Ball got away from the catcher in Tejeda. Runners advanced because there was no ability to really run to first. There was a runner on at first originally. Can't really try to run to first yourself if you're the batter at the plate. That's why Vargas has to jog all the way back to the dugout.
Somehow that out somewhat works in the Gauchos' favor now. They don't have a man on first and second. Instead, it's second and third, so... Or I guess 2 outs, so it doesn't matter a huge amount. But eliminates the force.
Swing and a miss there. Ian Fernandez back at the plate.
Struck out in his first attempt earlier today. That's Baker's first and only before Johnson came in for this third.
Swing and a miss again. Big breaking ball from Andrew Johnson.
See exactly what he wants to do with that. It looked as if Fernandez was way on top of that ball.
Check swing, did he go around? He did. Tag was applied, and that will end the top half of the third. So Andrew Johnson comes in, sees first two get on, but doesn't let them score. Does see them go to second and third, but that's about it. Gets back-to-back strikeouts. Third strikeout by a USC pitcher so far as we go to the bottom of the third. On Big Ten play. The trouble or just the added pressure of having a pitch comp, added equipment, having to go back into your ear there. And the first pitch is a ball inside, 1-0.
And it's really been a position battle at USC right now between Tejeda, who gets to start today, and Elliott.
So that one is into center field. How about Tejeda helping his own cause, trying to win that catcher position with the leadoff single?
Yeah, I was about to say, the real reason that Elliott started more games so far, 9 compared to 5, is because of the on-base percentage. Elliott's at 417 and Tejeda's at 125, but, I mean, now that increases, and Tejeda with a huge one to start this inning off strong for the Trojans.
This is the third leadoff base runner for USC in as many innings. This one, the first from a hit.
Yeah, still haven't gotten anything really offensively going. That's been super dangerous that we've really been worried about, but now you have a base runner, and you have 1, 2, 3 coming up.
Braden Dowd back at the top of the order. That one is in there, 0-1.
Second item up today. Walked on his first attempt.
Was able to get to third. Remember, they loaded the bases with nobody out in the first inning. Strikeout and a double play ended it. Nathan Aceves has seen this type of trouble before. One and two.
No, it's a bullpen day for the Gauchos, but Aceves at 37 right now. How long really is he going to keep going for? We're in the third inning. Maybe you can go 4, possibly 5, push things out to a longer day.
Fly ball to left, pretty deep down the line, but it is foul.
Over in the trees out there definitely got me worried for a second. I thought that one possibly was out of here, but yes, not. That would have been home run number 3 so far. We talked about it earlier. He's had 2 home runs so far this year and 1 last year, so doubling it would have been number 3. But instead, he's at bat again.
1-2 roped foul. Saw that previous foul ball fly right past that 326 sign. So for everyone involved, gotta get used to the new digs, even though, yeah, USC played these parks last year. It's good to keep in mind the dimensions and which park you're playing at on which day. 2-2. Of course, LMU with the blue monster out there in left. Haven't seen it come into play yet.
You talk about it only being 320 some, and Isaac Kim went pretty much dead center, yes. Center right. That's a long way out there. 400, way over 400.
That one a fly ball to pretty deep right center, but this one knocking down maybe a tougher play than it seemed for Trey McCollum. Latrey McCollum able to kind of scamper under. Maybe some of the lights affected it. The lights are on here, so we have hit 7 p.m.
I like that, and possibly a little bit of wind as well out here. Maybe not all that much, but a lot of hats flying off early in this ball game. And that one looked like it kept trailing further and further out.
Here's Ethan Hedges. Taking the first pitch and grounding it foul. Hedges was hit by a pitch. It's kind of how USC was able to get their first 2 base runners on, a walk and a hit batsman. Check swing, it didn't matter. It's called strike 2 anyway. The USC third baseman trying to see and move over his runner on at first, but isn't able to do so. Striking out, swinging. That's just the second strikeout for Nathan Aceves. There are 2 outs.
Yeah, this is the first one swinging. Earlier one was strike 3 looking. That was in a very similar position, actually, where it was bases loaded and struck out Carpentier looking. Now, a little bit different scenario, but similar. Someone on, but still gets the strikeout.
Here's Bryce Martin Gritzalonic. There is strike 1.
He has 5 multi-hit games in the first 11 so far. Batting .304 so far this season.
0-1. Of course, the UCLA transfer. Son of former Los Angeles Dodger, Mark Gritzalonic. So that one is a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Didn't have the best game of all time against his former team. Went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, so not really what you're wanting to do when you go back and play your former roster. I mean, especially if you go over to the Trojans, which is such a huge rivalry between those 2 programs.
That one high. The other part to that, though, is talking about the UCLA-USC game on Sunday. That one ends up being not an official conference game because they will have their own 3-game series later on in the year. It would be a Big Ten Conference series later on in the year.
Right, that one just tournament ball.
Yeah, it is. And more of a preseason or exhibition or just non-conference type of game where USC is maybe feeling out an opponent that they'll be able to see later when it matters.
All right, but that doesn't change the fact that those 2 are definitely going to want to win every single time
no
they
doubt
play
about
against each other.
That is called strike 3. And how about Nathan Aceves getting back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning? Let's go to the 4th. It's 3-0 UC Santa Barbara. Riding on the back of their starter, Aceves, who has been able to first pitch is high for ball 1. And it is, I think this is actually Latrey McCollum at the plate. 1-1. McCollum grounded out to first his first time up, back in the 2nd inning. One and 2.
Thinks about squaring around a bunt there. Looking to show off the speed from Latrey. Is someone that's quick.
He's shown his ability to traverse center field as he had a little adventurous of an out made half inning ago, but is able to show off the quickness and the athleticism, the agility to be able to recover and make the play.
Somewhat over yard sale out there with the hat, the sunglasses, everything flying off, but made the catch either way.
Two and two. Andrew Johnson, by the way, still out there for USC. Strike three called. Boy, what a great pitch from Andrew Johnson.
That's 3 straight strikeouts from the man. I mean, he's on fire. He's starting to get going here. Definitely found his groove. If you're anybody on USC, don't really look his way. Let him keep doing what he's doing. Able to see the ball. Oh, breaking ball finds the lower part of the zone. Maybe a good job there from Tejeda to help out our umpire, make it look a little bit better, catch that lower edge maybe a little bit more than it did, but backwards K nonetheless.
So Jeremiah Crane now up. Fouled away. I believe it is 0-2. He did try to bunt on the first pitch. Ended up being a foul ball. Oh, check swing. I think he went around, and the home plate umpire is making the call himself.
So
how about the 4th strikeout now in a row for Andrew Johnson?
They just keep on coming. I mean, when you find a groove, I guess, and there's no better time to really do that in the middle of the order and going through the bottom. You don't want to be giving up hits toward that bottom of the order because then you bring up the top and things start to get a little bit scary.
Johnson saw the first batter drive a ball to center field, and Jonathan Mendez back in the top of the 3rd inning for a double, and then walked Jack Holman. But ever since then, it's been a pop-out that ended up being an infield fly and 4 straight strikeouts. That one just missed.
He's been aiming for that outside corner and really been using that slider or some sort of breaking ball on that lower edge that has caught a lot of people swinging. And yes, looking as well. His last one against Crane was a check swing, but I don't know if he fully wanted to go around.
Oh, time called. That was a pitch clock violation. So it's now 2-2.
Looks like he already knows what he's throwing.
And what he's throwing was a good one. Striking out the side. Going back to the 3rd inning, it's now 5 straight strikeouts for Andrew Johnson. Rolling here for USC. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Trojan Bats coming up looking to get going, but Andrew Johnson is commanding the mound. Has a little swagger coming off. Nisev is back out there for his 4th inning of work. He's done a great job through 3. Now in this 2nd time through the order of USC hitters. Dean Carpentier, 4, 5, and 6 due up here in the 4th. Oh, check swing. It did hit the bat, and it is fair. In play, ball bounces, gets away. Carpentier scampering over to second. Not sure if that'll be ruled a hit or an error, but USC has a runner in scoring position right away.
That's such a hard play for Ian Fernandez to make down there in the catcher position because Aceves is coming downhill. He's already ready for the ball, and you see him screaming, but either way, whoever picks up that ball, it's going to be a tough play. If you're Fernandez, it's because you have to turn all the way around and spin and let it fly. But Aceves is also momentum taking him away from the plate, so a little bit of luck there from Carpentier. But sometimes you need luck, and if you're the Trojans down by 3, you're going to take anything that you can get right now to get someone on second.
Augie Lopez now. 0-1.
Last at bat wasn't necessarily ideal from him. Grounded into a 4-6-3 double play to end that inning, which looked like the Trojans were in a great position to get back or at least get some runs on the board after UCSB put up 3 in the first. It bases loaded, and then all of a sudden a backwards K from Carpentier and double play from Lopez. Meant not a whole lot for USC during that inning, or nothing, I should say.
2-1. Runner in scoring position for Lopez as he swings through. 2-1 pitch now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Do you want to say that Carpentier has officially gotten on via a throwing error? So roll it E2 on your scorecard at home. Also a little bit of business to take care of for UC Santa Barbara's alignment now. They have a new right fielder, just a defensive replacement. It is Rex DeAngelis. As that is strike 3 called, and there is out number 1 on the 4th strikeout for Nathan Aceves.
That's a huge one to get 1 here. Don't want to really get into a 1st and 3rd scenario with no outs. And if you're Aceves, it really keeps your night going, getting that K. Moves things along, keeps someone at second. And you're still battling 56 pitches, so starting to get up there, especially for what we were expecting to be a bullpen day from Santa Barbara. But if you're grooving, I guess.
Here's Adrian Lopez. Hit by a pitch, first time up. Looks at ball 1. It's 1-1. To the Long Beach State transfer. Was a dirtbag. His true freshman season. Started the year as a shortstop. Ended up bouncing around throughout the year, but was a regular starter as he ropes one to left. Good leaping grab as Holman is able to make a defensive play. Our player to watch today.
You know, typically a first baseman also. Look at him. He can play wherever he wants. Gets up there with that one. Flashes the leather over his head. That probably saves a run also if you're the Gauchos. You got Carpentier out there who has some wheels over at second. He was ready to go also. But a good play either way to keep Trojans off the board.
That pitch low to Dylan Osborne. Osborne with a ground out to third. His first time up. Still a runner in scoring position in Dean Carpentier. Now with 2 outs, as Nathan Aceves has seen, once again, leadoff base runners, even base runners that get into scoring position with nobody out, and has been able to work around those extremely well today. To center, McCollum able to camp under it, make the play, and that will do it for the 4th. We go to the 5th, 3-0. Nathan Aceves still able to work a shutout halfway through this ball. Has a pretty good history in their baseball program history with that one College World Series appearance. It's really just a program that has grown over the years, mostly under their head coach Andrew Checketts. who has really built one of the better programs on the West Coast, really one of the best programs you'll find out of the Big West Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about that one College World Series appearance back in 2016. It really hasn't slowed down since then. This team is still a legitimate contender every single year. I mean, they're ranked 15. You could debatably put them a little bit lower as well. And, you know, the USC roster is not bad at all despite not being ranked. And we can take a look a little bit about this USC program history. Founded in 1889, so definitely a veteran. 12 College World Series titles. I mean, come on, 52 first-team All-Americans. This team really has it all. They've struggled a little bit this year, but they're still a debatably should be a ranked team, right? I mean, they have that win against Vanderbilt, who's very, very, very good. And, you know, they just had that loss against Rice earlier this season and that loss against UCLA, which I'm not saying are good losses by any stretch of the imagination, but they're still a good team no matter what.
Led by Andy Stankiewicz in his third year. Led USC to their first back-to-back 30-win seasons since 2001 and 2002, when the Trojans were led by the late, great Mike Gillespie. There's a strike poured in there. New pitcher on the mound, by the way, for USC. They switch handedness going from Andrew Johnson, who did a really good job over 2 innings. Now it's Sax Matson, 6'2" sophomore, the way he walks his first batter.
Yeah, interesting to switch things up if you are USC. 5 straight Ks before from Johnson, but switching over to a lefty, maybe would prefer Matson for this top of the order. I guess that's what you've got to assume, because Johnson was really playing well in that, you know, that beginning part. I mean, he starts with a walk and then, or he starts, with that double and then the walk, but after that played very flawless with striking out the side the inning prior.
So Jonathan Mendez, number 2 batter in the batting order for UCSB. Shows bunt, pulls it back, doesn't have to put it down anymore as that ball gets away. And now a runner in scoring position, the leadoff hitter in Xavier Esquer, is able to get on via the walk. Doesn't have to steal the bag, doesn't have to advance on a bunt. This is very similar to how UC Santa Barbara started the game in the first inning.
Right, and it's those small errors for USC, those pass balls, those hit by pitches, and those, the balks that we saw at the beginning, all of those that really just compile over and over, and then all of a sudden you're have 2 people or a person on, and Isaac Kim comes up, who, I mean, is not on deck, but he's certainly ready to go here soon, and he hits that home run to put this game where it's at 3-0.
Mendez, who has had a very solid day himself. A single and a double. 2-1. Turn and throw. Matson peering in as the left-handed pitcher. Southpaw looks back to second. Now from the stretch, it is 2-2 following the foul ball. All 3 runs coming in the first inning for UC Santa Barbara. Mendez was a part of it. 2-2 pitch just missed.
That's a good breaking ball if you're Matson. You really like that coming in toward a righty's hands, trying to hit that outside corner. That's so hard to hit, and see if he goes back to it here as well.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Gets away from the catcher, Tejeda. And the throw gets away from the first baseman Carpentier all the way to right field. And just like that, 4-0 UC Santa Barbara. And they've got another run in scoring position.
So those little errors that we talk about, I mean, that when a strikeout turns into a run, which is not a sentence you'll hear very often, as that was Tejeda who just kind of let it fly over Carpentier's head.
Esquire able to score pretty easily from second. And now first pitch swinging. Jack Holman popping out. Ritzalonic able to make the play. There's the first down recorded.
That's something you're somewhat fine to see, or pretty happy to see if you're USC, having Holman go down there. He hasn't been able to do any damage so far. I mean, he walked in the third, and in the first he had that forced out, which he scored later because of the home run from Isaac Kim, who's stepping into the box here.
First pitch missing. 1-0. First base is open here. Kim is the one with the biggest swing of the night so far. He did pop out last time up.
Certainly didn't pop up the first time. That ball just kept going and going and going, and I think slowly sliced all the way out toward the 400 marker out there in deep, deep center field.
Fly ball to shallow right. This could be trouble, and it is still a foul ball. Was a really tough play to make for Carpentier. Doesn't end up hurting USC this time.
That was definitely close to that white chalk line out there in right field. Those bloop singles that just kind of look like, from the beginning, look like trouble. So we're able to watch it one more time. Carpentier out there. Ooh, very close. And very, very close.
Jonathan Mendez certainly thought could have been fair.
I think either way, he was ready to tag, because Carpentier, even if he catches that, there's no way he's 180, getting his feet set and firing one all the way across the diamond over to Hedges over there at third.
Well, now it is still Isaac Kim awaiting 1-1. Getting that first home run of the year back in the first inning. What can he do here in the fifth? Another teammate of his scoring position at second. Matson, the pitcher on the mound for USC, entered the inning. Promptly walked Esquire and was able to strike out Mendez. The throwing error allowed a run to score. And Mendez is now the runner on at second. 1-2 at the plate.
So after that pitch, he just threw something inside with a little bit of arm side run. He has a lot of options here to go with. He can keep something high and in, but that's dangerous if you miss. Speaking of misses, I think he got away with one there. That one was left high and dead center, which with someone who's already hit a home run today, you don't want Isaac Kim to really get a barrel on that. Lucky that he was late and looking for probably some sort of off speed.
That one called strike three. Good pitch from Sax Matson.
That was tunneled, I mean, pretty perfectly. We talked about that first pitch, that high fastball that Kim was able to battle off, and he was late on it. You know, normally if someone's late on something, you don't want to go immediately to a breaking ball, but there he kept it low, and a low breaking ball ends up even lower, obviously bouncing into the glove, I guess, but it's still such a low pitch that it's impossible to swing at.
That's the 7th strikeout from USC pitching. in less than 5 innings so far. That is a tough play, and it is not made. It is an RBI double for Nate Vargas. Good old put them where they ain't. And it drives in the 5th run for UCSB.
Almost a copy of the play that Carpentier tried to make earlier, except this side flip it and put it about 5 yards inside the diamond. Just such a hard play for Hedges to make. That ball is just slowly falling end over end, and nothing you can really do about it.
Ian Fernandez now up, and that is strike 1. How about Nate Vargas getting the start as the designated hitter? Driving in a run. Seems like an offensive timeout. Chance to talk things over. UCSB offensively. Maybe something that assistant coach Matt Fontenot saw that wanted to talk to Ian Fernandez about. USC fans will know Fontenot well, as he was a USC assistant back in 2022. That one outside, 1-1.
When you get to this bottom part of the lineup where you get Fernandez, McCollum, Crane, and then Nunez as well, those are all righties. So if you're a lefty pitcher, you've got to be ready, and your strategy changes a little bit from right-handers to left-handers. Obviously, everything breaks toward the righties. So that outside part of the plate, and then if you can get in on the hands, that'll be definitely efficient for him.
One and two at the plate. Matson looking to get out of the top of the 5th. Try to give USC bats a chance to get going in the middle of this ballgame. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the offering, and there is a swing and a miss. So the strikeout gets Matson out of an inning where run comes in for UCSB. A couple of them from Esquer and Mendez. Partly helped via an error, also an RBI double, but a couple of strikeouts from Sax Matson. Able to get USC's bats back up in the bottom half of the 5th after this. That new facility, USC players, I'm sure, and of course the coaching staff are going to be very excited to have their first game in there very soon.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a player, it's really tough because right now you're playing a home game at LMU. Nothing about that really says home. And there's something different, especially on Dudo Field when you're there. It just feels a little bit different. And, when we get all of these, new things about this stadium that are so cool that you just heard about, it's going to be a different vibe if you are a Trojans fan, and other teams coming in are also going to feel good about it.
Oh, 0-2 to Avery Covarrubias. Swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout. And the flip side of how USC has used 3 pitchers so far through 5 innings, it is Nathan Aceves carrying UC Santa Barbara on the mound in his 5th inning of work.
Yeah, he just keeps on going. I mean, he has 66 pitches so far. That's strikeout number 5 from him on the day. So he just keeps on rolling through, and what we thought was going to be a bullpen day, we're still here in the 5th inning saying his name.
Kind of speaks to still how early this season is. Conference season is around the corner, but we were just assuming it's more of a bullpen game because of how they have used Aceves throughout the season so far. But a lot of the work that is done behind the scenes and a lot of the ramping up maybe they were ready to have Aceves be that starter for the midweek matchup. And he has done a really good job now through 4 2/3, getting the second out there of the 5th inning.
I mean, it's either that or also you're still learning a whole lot about your team. There is a chance that it's possibly was supposed to be a bullpen day, but as he's going on and on, he's saying, Coach, I still feel good. And if you're a coach and you hear that, you can just keep him out there. And if he has the endurance to keep going, maybe you just found yourself a new starter in Aceves.
Well, back at the top of the order, it's Braden Dowd. Looks at ball 1 well outside.
Walked in his first appearance and then over in the 3rd inning, hit one deep into center field, which was caught, but looking to keep things going from his end. Has a hit 9 out of the last 11 games so far.
He's had a really good last 2 games specifically. 2 for 3 against UCLA. Walked twice and also stole a base. So he fouls that one away. Then also went 1 for 4 with a double. Scored once in their win against Vanderbilt.
No, he's someone who's just been consistent for this Trojans team, and that's what you ask for. Hitting .310 so far this year, and that's why he's leading off.
1-2. Fouled away.
He also keeps counts going. That's another thing. He can keep battling and get those pitch count up and up and up. And I mean, Aceves at 71 now and still counting. Every pitch, once you get later into this game, matters.
One and two. I think Aceves wanted to redo the pitch comm communication. Got the one he wanted, and it is 2-2. Nathan Aceves, now up over 70 pitches in this one, has not gone over 24 pitches thrown in an appearance yet this year. 2-2 at the count. The count at the plate as that's fouled away.
And 2 pitches ago, had one coming in onto the hands of Dowd, and then now that one kind of had a little bit of arm side run. There's a lot of ways you can tunnel that pitch.
Oh, driven to right field, and it is to the wall. Dowd rounding first, sprinting to second. The throw will be well late, and it's a stand-up 2-out double for Braden Dowd.
A good way to battle if you're Dowd. You saw the 2 pitches before. Both of them, I mean, this one had arm side run very similar to the pitch he saw prior, basically in the same spot, and just keeps the hands there, gets the hands to the ball, and barrels that one up into the right field.
Two-out rallies could be something that USC would need to break that proverbial seal. Have not been able to score a run, though they have been able to get multiple players in scoring position.
Yeah, they have left quite a bit of people on base so far in this game, which has really been a struggle for them. Obviously, they've gotten picked off as well. Got picked off at first earlier in the game. So it's just leaving those runs out there, which is just a sin if you're a coach. You've really got to be seeing that and be getting frustrated with your team a little bit, where you can get things going early, but you can't finish them off. And that's really what it's been so far. A story for USC in this game, and quite the opposite for UCSB, who's really just capitalized on every opportunity they've gotten.
Yeah, 5 runs on just 5 hits for UC Santa Barbara. Yeah, that might have been just the 3rd hit for USC. But they've had multiple runners on via being hit by a pitch or a walk, also an error. This, by the way, the first inning of the game that USC hasn't had a leadoff base runner. 1-0. How about the composure? The ability to work around adversity by Nathan Aceves. Well, that ball almost got into center field.
Yeah, it didn't look like Mendez was completely ready for that ball out there over at second. Maybe trying to just get another pitch clock reset, which working around the rules here a little bit, but completely legal what he's doing. And just trying to find, what feels best for him. He's been going strong so far in this game, so why stop what you're doing?
1-1. Popped up. Could be playable in foul ground. And you can maybe hear it yourself. It hit the stands behind the plate. So it's 1-2. The count to Ethan Hedges. Two and two.
Aceves has gone back to this low breaking ball slider type thing quite a bit when he's been in danger so far. See now if that's the pitch that Fernandez puts down.
Swing and a miss. 6 strikeouts now for Nathan Aceves. Cruising through 5. As we go to the 6th inning. 5-0 USA Today in the coaches poll. This is the top 13 portion. See Oregon State up there. A couple of teams that you'll find on the West Coast. Tennessee leading everybody right now. Then in the bottom half, you'll find USC, UC Santa Barbara, and UC Irvine, both Big West opponents, as USC welcomes a Big West opponent here tonight. Vanderbilt down to 18 now, partly thanks to a USC loss.
Yeah, and a lot of the times one of these ranked teams will lose to an unranked team. It helps the unranked team, sure, but it'll hurt the ranked team quite a bit more, and that's really the case in this scenario where Vanderbilt went down from right around 12 and dropped all the way down to where they are now over at 16. Or they were at 18, excuse me. So 12 to 18. That's a huge drop after just one game. If you are Vanderbilt, SEC obviously a huge powerhouse in the baseball world, and it's a team that typically is pretty good, but just a loss to USC definitely did not help in their standings.
It's a new pitcher on the mound, by the way, for USC as we take a look back at the foul ball. Boy, hope Tejeda is okay behind the plate. May have gotten up under the mask here. I think it did.
Yeah, that one's got to hurt. That's, as someone who's caught before, if it gets you where you don't want it, it definitely doesn't feel good.
There's Favela. 6'3" freshman, and a true freshman at that, from Upland. To second. Covarrubias over to first, and there is out number 1. For Favela, this is his 3rd appearance. He's yet to allow a run cross so far. Looking to do so here against UCSB.
No, in high school, you talk about him being a true freshman. He was dominant in his high school scene over in San Dimas High School. 15-3 record with a career 1.36 ERA. So someone who really dominated over in the high school world and has jumped out to college, now facing off against a huge team in the Gauchos early in this season.
Bunt foul. It's Jeremiah Crane. I'll correct myself. It is Rex DeAngelis. Yes, he did replace Crane out in right field earlier. So DeAngelis getting his first at-bat. Did that hit him? Did he pull the bunt back in time? He did. Hits the knee, so it hurts a little bit jogging over to first, but he gets the free bag anyway.
Yeah, he's someone who'll take that no matter what. Batting 143 so far this year. You saw him square around a bunt multiple times. Ooh, I think he barely got that bat back in time. He's able to get the bag, but that highlighter pink barrel seemed to definitely still be most of the way over the plate. I think he might have gotten away with one a little bit on that one.
Corey Nunez now. By the way, it was 7-8-9 due up for UCSB in this inning. They all struck out their last time up. But opportunity here for the Gauchos with DeAngelis getting hit by a pitch. Foul ball. Oh, 2, and that is ball 1.
You know, an 0-2 like that, that's definitely a pitcher trying to find someone chasing on a ball, looking for a heater on the outside. But that pitch, a lot of people call it a waste pitch, but you can tunnel that super easily, a ball that goes way away, and he does there.
That throw is in time. Tejeda catching DeAngelis trying to steal. That was a strike him out, throw him out, double play to make it look like a 1-2-3 inning. Good throw, great tag applied, and Jude Favela able to work around a hit batsman and they are making a change on the mound.
Yeah, they're going to have Donovan Jackson coming out here, the lefty transfer. You know, from around kind of this area over in Glendora, but the 6'3 junior so far this year has pitched a handful amount, 13 innings so far, a 2 ERA, 16 strikeouts to his name. So he's pitched a lot, only in 3 appearances. We're in the 6th. We could probably see him go most of the rest of the way, you would think, if things go the right way for Santa Barbara.
Fouled away. Does have to face Bryce Martin Grudzelanek. 3, 4, and 5 due up for USC. Single and a strikeout for Grudzelanek today. (3-2). There's a fly ball foul and out of play. Trying to go the other way with that one is similar to the fly ball that went to the right field corner back in the first inning. Ended up loading the bases. This time, though, just a pop out to very shallow center. 1 out.
Good job from Mendez to take his time with that one. Looked like it was slowly drifting out above second base instead of, where he would consider his home area in that gap. But, Donovan Jackson controlling the mound right now. If you watch how quickly he sets up between each pitch, doesn't let any of USC's hitters really get comfortable inside the box. As soon as he gets his pitch calm, he's ready to let it fly.
0-2 now to Dean Carpentier. First baseman for USC has struck out and got on base. Actually got to second via throwing error.
Yeah, that was the one that was hit just right out in front of him and made it a very tough play from Aceves and then Fernandez as well. Just goes back-to-back high fastballs. Able to tunnel that pretty well. You can go up there again or use any sort of breaking ball to slow it down.
3 balls, 2 strikes now.
That's a good pitch. Such a hard one to hit. If he gets that into the zone, that's going to be really hard. A lot of arm side run with that ball.
Fly ball shallow center. The Trey McCollum able to make the play. 2 outs, nobody on. And Augie Lopez coming up.
Just again, we see that cutter coming out from Jackson. Just a significant amount of arm side run, and you're probably going to see it a decent amount here against Lopez because that ball is coming in onto his hand. So if you keep it inside and then it comes even quicker inside, you just saw it exactly there. And then you can get it for a freeze fastball if you want, if you are at an 0-2 or anything, a 2-strike count. Very good strikeout pitch.
Just want to close the book on Nathan Aceves real quick. Going 5 innings, shutout ball, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 2 hit batters on 81 pitches. Just a very solid outing. Definitely the outing of his year so far.
And if you're the Gauchos, you might have just found yourself another starter. I mean, or your long reliever even, coming in late into those games to shut things down.
1-2, and it's a swing and a miss. Donovan Jackson able to come in and promptly get a 1-2-3 inning. Let's go to the 7th. Still 5-0 UC Santa Barbara. As Jackson, the southpaw, 6'3", able to use that frame to his advantage. And he says, well, the pitch com may not be working, but the arm is, that's for sure.
Arizona State and Nebraska. So a few huge series, I should say, coming up. But the big one is going to be against Oregon over at Great Park in Irvine.
Definitely looking forward to that one coming up this weekend. This is the first pitch from Jude Favela, able to be swung on and missed for strike 1. That one foul, just out of play.
Definitely rode that baseline as long as that one can go, and as soon as it saw third base, jumped over to the left. That was for sure extra bases if it had stayed inside of the bag.
So Favela has to work the top of the order from UCSB as that one is fouled off the leg of Xavier Esquire.
And each time the top of the order has come up, they've made it through 6 hitters so far. So every time the top of the order is the start of an inning, so the first and then the 5th as well, they've gone through 6 hitters before having to wrap things up. And after that, only the next inning after that doesn't tend to be well, striking out the side on one, and then the other one ended in a double play.
Big swing and a miss and a strikeout there. How about Jude Favela coming in, getting a ground out, and seeing a batter reach a board being hit by a pitch, but strike him out, throw him out to end the 6th, and now starts the 7th with a strikeout.
And that's something you want starting with a freshman, is to let him see as much as you can as early as possible so that when you get on down later into the season, once you start to get into conference play, once you get those teams, Oregon, UCLA, all of them, that you're ready for it. He's seen it, and he's ready to go against these big teams in big moments.
Jonathan Mendez back at the plate. Oh, that hit the bat on a check swing.
Mendez so far 2 hits today, and then questionable third where there was that drop third strike that just chaos ensued. Ball goes flying and a run scored in that. So it was Escobar who came around and scored to make the score 5-0.
Two and two. Grounder to second. 2 outs. Jack Holman now coming up. Grounded into a fielder's choice, walked, and then popped out his last time up.
There's a whole lot of things if you're a USC that you circle and you say, I don't really love this very much. But one thing that they can circle that so far they've done a decent job of, might be a huge jinx right now as I'm going to say it right as he's stepping into the box. They've kind of stopped him from doing a whole lot so far. I mean, the walk he got on base, but other than that, they've gotten him out and then a fielder's choice on the first one.
I think it was no swing called by the third base umpire, so it's 1 ball, no strikes. Holman looks at ball 2, just missing.
And this is where things get a little bit scary if you're USC on a 2-0 count against someone like Holman. He's ready to let this thing fly lefty.
2-0. In there, strike 1.
Dangerous breaking ball in there, especially as a righty to go inside towards someone like Holman, who might have been looking for a fastball or something there.
Oh, fly ball to center. Dowd under it. Able to make the play for out number 2. Well, I should correct myself. That is the 3rd out of the inning. Holman flying out, and that will do it for the top half of the 7th. Get up and stretch. Let's go to the bottom half. 5-0, UC Santa Barbara. One of them, though, breaching it and going over for the 1 home run from Isaac Kim.
Yeah, and, on that note, we were expecting to see maybe a little bit of fog. That certainly came into play in earlier series, with Vanderbilt and UConn. That was could barely see absolutely anything during those games, and I think that was something that we were a little bit worried about for this one, but not too bad at all. And just a good day or good night, I should say, for some baseball, especially if you're UCSB winning by 5 runs right now. USC, time's ticking here in the bottom of the 7th after that 7th inning stretch.
Adrian Lopez, an 0-1 count. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 0-2.
One of multiple people hit by pitch, or hit by a pitch, I should say, today, and then got picked off. So not necessarily the best thing of all time for him. That was my key. One of the keys to the game was being smart on the base path, and gets picked off. That's just a momentum killer if you're USC.
1-2, and that one is fouled away.
That was start off the 2nd inning as well, so coming off of a 1st inning where, you get people aboard. You didn't necessarily get any runs because of a double play, but you get on and then get picked off. That's not good.
Oh, off the glove of the shortstop, Nunez. And Adrian Lopez is a leadoff base runner, something that USC hasn't seen in a couple of innings.
Yeah, and maybe that's something you need. You get Jackson into the stretch now, force him to get out of the windup. Maybe that's going to disrupt his timing a little bit. You know, we've seen him go really quickly between these pitches, and now you force him to the lefty to go out of the stretch, which is certainly dangerous because he's going to be staring over at Lopez, who I've said has gotten picked off already once today.
Fourth hit of the ball game for USC. Opportunity now with Dylan Osborne at the plate. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Donovan Jackson and Adrian Lopez play that little cat and mouse game over at first, because he's now a lefty on the mound. That one high and inside. 1-0 to Dylan Osborne.
Right, if you're Adrian Lopez, you want to play with him a little bit, but you also have to remember the back of your brain. You got picked off about, 5 innings ago, so you got to be really careful with that. Try to get into his head, but don't do anything too dumb.
1-1 as that was a foul ball. See Lopez jogging back to the bag. Time he's been taking a lead, UC Santa Barbara has the first baseman right behind him, not really holding him on at first, but still within distance to do a little back pick play. 1-1. 1-2. Good pitch from Jackson.
You know, that pitch, that outside fastball, which didn't have any cut movement, leads open a freeze fastball in that outside corner. If you can get the cutter there, that's a dangerous pitch, though. If you leave it too far or leave it too close to the plate, that could trail just right down the middle. Like that.
Grounder foul.
Yeah, that was dangerous. That one was literally exactly what I was saying at the end of my sentence there, that you got to watch out for. That cutter that just comes right back to the middle of the plate. For a lefty, I mean, no matter who it is, Osborne, even if you're a 7-hitter, that thing's right down the middle and ready to be nailed.
1-2. Lopez takes his lead off at first. That is ball 2. Saw the first baseman, Kim, behind Lopez as he took his lead. Swing and a miss. Another good strikeout for Donovan Jackson.
Eighth strikeout on the day for these Gauchos. So, I mean, they've been getting Trojans that way, but it's something that they haven't relied on a huge amount. But it's nice, especially once you get to the lower parts of the lineup, that you don't have to really worry about making those field plays and can kind of just get outs through the ways of the pitcher, and definitely starts getting their mind right for the later parts of the season, just confidence-wise.
Swing and a miss there from Avery Covarrubias to start this at-bat, where Covarrubias has struck out and grounded out today. 1 out, 1 on. The 0-1 pitch is now 0-2. Another swing and a miss. This is the bottom part of the order for USC. Would be really important for them should they be able to mount a little rally, but none doing. Covarrubias swinging through that one. Third strikeout now for Jackson.
2 in a row as well. I mean, that's his 19th so far on the season. He just keeps racking them up, and he's the one this team's relied on the bump quite a bit so far. And, I mean, you can see why. He's kind of just shredding this USC lineup as you get further and further down, and there's a reason for it. He's confident, and he moves quickly on the mound. He's not someone who takes his time, and he doesn't have too many pitches. He has that fastball, that cutter, and then some sort of breaking ball changeup, and that's all he needs.
First one fouled back. Richard Tejeda back at the plate for USC. Actually, I should say it's a pinch hitter. Just brought in for the Trojans. Just saw the first swing from Jack Basir, as that is high. 1-1. Transfer from TCU. Was a starter in left field over the weekend against UConn and Vanderbilt. Now swings and misses there. It's 1-2.
He's one of those double transfers as well. You know, his freshman season he was over at Pepperdine, then he goes over to TCU, and finally at USC, which is becoming more and more common these days as NIL has started and players are able to enter the transfer portal and really change where they're going.
Head coach Andy Stankiewicz trying to get something going offensively here in the 7th. Bringing in a pinch hitter. We'll see who comes out to catch after this. Is the catcher's spot in the batting order right now. 2-2, 2 outs, 1 on. And that is strike 3 called. And we go to the 8th inning. UC Santa Barbara pitching has been stout. It is 5-0. Here on Big Ten Plus, unique to the Big Ten. Student U is part of an educational mission to teach the next generation of sports production professionals. For more information, visit BigTenNetwork.com/StudentU.
That's me. Can you believe that?
I can't. I actually can't. Doing a great job in that round here with Andrew Geisler. And Andrew, it's been a fun one to kind of cover in terms of seeing USC battle a top-ranked team in the country, a top 15 team at that, in UC Santa Barbara in a midweek.
Yeah, and you know they've done it all. They've hit well. They've struck out their batters when they're on the defensive side of the ball. So right now they're up 5-0, and you know that about tells the story to the game. To be completely honest, sometimes you look at some of these scores and you wonder how did it get here. Well, I mean, it's really been Isaac Kim, speaking of which, at how we've gotten here. And he's up to bat right now with that home run that kind of just drifted out to deep right center field earlier in this game. Back in first inning, you know, he was the one that really started it off and got things going. And that from the jump, it was huge that Kim was able to get that home run.
New pitcher on the mound, it's T. Southesy. There is a swing and a miss. It's 2-1.
And he's in there because, you know, the coaches have loved what they've called going into attack mode, and that's someone that you really want on the mound in a game like this when you're trying to spark a comeback. Is someone who will go to attack the other team and hunt for those strikeouts. Someone who's not scared to throw a dangerous pitch and try to get those strikeouts.
2-2. Fly ball, and it is the right fielder. DeAngelis able to make the catch. It's 1 out. By the way, behind the plate now, Elliott is the catcher for USC. John Elliott, the true freshman who has been the starting catcher throughout the year for the Trojans.
And I mentioned it earlier, it hasn't been because of anything catching-wise. It's really been on-base percentage that's been so huge. Tejeda's batting 125, or coming into this game was at 125 on-base percentage, excuse me. And that increased a little bit. He got on base earlier today. But Elliott's miles higher. He's at 417 on-base percentage, so it's tough to leave him out of the lineup, whether he's a freshman or not. Coming over from Mater Dei, which obviously is a huge powerhouse school down here in Southern California.
Missing there. So the 4th arm out of the pen for USC. T. Southesy, the true freshman from Henderson, Nevada. Right next to Las Vegas. 2-0. In there. 2-1. 2-1 pitch is lined into the glove of the first baseman, Dean Carpentier. Second out recorded.
You mentioned Zaltacine in that freshman role. You know, that's something that we've seen quite a bit from this USC roster today. Everyone has been an underclassman that's been on the mound. Favela, he's a freshman, and then you go over to Matson, who's a sophomore, Johnson, who's a freshman, and then the starter of today, Baker, who's a sophomore.
Playable for the shortstop. Bryce Martin Grizzolonic makes the squeeze, and that'll be it. A 1-2-3 inning. T. Southazine does the job out of the pen. Let's go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. USC bats looking to get going here on Big Ten Plus, right? Or will it be 4-5-6 due up in the bottom of the 9th? Donovan Jackson has been doing a good job out of the bullpen for UC Santa Barbara. Definitely looking like he can finish up the ball game for them.
Yeah, and I mean, he's pitched a lot before so far this season. So he just keeps things rolling. That's strikeout number 4 in a row for him, and he just keeps on going. I mean, he's such a good pitcher. He moves quickly. He has an arsenal that he trusts, with that cutter being by far his best pitch, in my opinion at least. And it's such a he uses it in such a versatile way to lead people off, and also, I mean, it's a chase pitch. It really can be. You just see how much movement it really has.
Braden Dowd striking out and having to be thrown out on the 2-3 put out. Ball in the dirt. Now, Ethan Hedges, who has already struck out twice today. Other than the strikeouts, Hedges was hit by a pitch all the way back in the first inning. 1 and 2. That has seemed to be USC's best opportunity offensively today, back in the first inning when they were able to load the bases.
Yeah, it definitely was, but they really just couldn't get anything going. I mean, you said it, that was their only time. After that, they've really gotten nothing going offensively. They've had a few people aboard, but never have been able to get anybody across home plate to get a run.
Drive to left center, tracking it down on a good running play, Jack Holman.
You know, that's also likely to end Hedges' hit streak at 11 games. He was hit by pitch, but that doesn't count. So his hit streak is going to stop at 11 unless something crazy happens here in bottom of 8 and 9.
So here comes Bryce Martin Grudzelanek. First pitch is in there, 0-1 to the USC shortstop. That long single, then a strikeout and a pop-up after. That one fouled away. Oh-2. Drive to right center. Who's got it? It is the right fielder, DeAngelis, able to make the play. And let's go to the 9th inning. 5-0 UC Santa Barbara, as Donovan Jackson has done a great job out of the pen. USC's pitching is going to come out and keep this lead where it's at on Big Ten Plus. Nothing. And they've got their 5th arm out of the bullpen. It is Andrew Harbor.
Yeah, and he's a solid bullpen option, and he was also last year as a freshman. He has a mid-90s fastball, or low 90s, excuse me, and that's not something you necessarily see from someone who normally comes in sidearm. You normally see a lot of movement from them, but, you know, being able to get a 90s fastball, and no matter what, you're going to have movement as a sidearm pitcher, so we'll see exactly what he's brought out so far, what he has available for this game.
That one going inside to Latrey McCollum. the UCSB center fielder. 0 for 3 with the strikeout. Other than that strikeout, it's been a couple of ground outs to the right side of the infield. 1 to first, 1 to second.
Yeah, and it was a backward strikeout at that. That was when Johnson came in and really put a tear. He was strikeout number 4 in a row of 5.
1-1 is sent into center field. There's the hit for LaTrey McCollum. Pretty much a 1 for 4 week and weekend. McCollum was 1 for 4 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this past weekend. Now he's 1 for 4 on this Tuesday midweek.
Yeah, consistent guy. I mean, what else can you want from someone at the bottom of the order is you just get a hit every now and then, keep things alive, and be good in the fields, which he has done today. He's made a few pretty tough catches out in center field. Hats flying, glasses flying, and everything. But made good plays nonetheless.
Rex DeAngelis made the catch to end the bottom half of the 8th. Now has a runner on at first. Not that big of a lead from McCollum. Of course, it is a 5-0 game. No real reason to steal in this situation here in the top of the 9th, though UC Santa Barbara will definitely welcome any insurance runs. And with that, maybe they're going to attempt to move the runner over via the bunt. Yeah, DeAngelis is squaring around. It's a 1-0 at the plate. Maybe Andrew Harbor thinks there is something on, a certain play. Just wants to catch LaTrey McCollum napping. One and 0.
I think he doesn't like the bunt at all. I think he's trying to get him to stop bunting and tell him to just hit the ball, please.
The one play that would have the runner in motion in this instance, you could do a hit and run, have the batter pull the bat back and try to slash the ball, the runner on the go, but instead just pulled the bat back and took ball 1. I should say ball 2. It was 1-0 at the plate.
DeAngelis was involved with something similar to that. I don't know if it was necessarily a hit and run, but he was caught stealing as his teammate struck out right after that. That was Nunez who struck out after him. So I don't know if it was necessarily a hit and run, but either way, he got out in a similar play earlier in this game. That was back in the 6th inning.
That was a strike him out, throw him out to end that inning. Helped out Jude Favela. Now Andrew Harbor, 6th overall pitcher for USC to toe the rubber today. Just a little bit of a cat and mouse game here between Harbor and McCollum.
So far, I think just as many back picks as he does pitches so far in this game at 6.
Now it's the 2-1 pitch, and now it is put down, and a good bunt. Tag is applied. And there is out number 1.
I started to get a little bit nervous there. It looked almost as if USC fully wasn't ready for that bunt, which, I mean, shocked me because he squared up so many times before, but Crementier just smart play to look up, see that the runner is running right at him, and put a two-handed tag on him.
Corey Nunez now stepping in. One out, still runner in scoring position out for UC Santa Barbara. That is high and inside for ball 1. Sacrifice successful. Colin with pretty good speed on at second. Nunez looking to drive him in.
You know, she's our 5th hit batter of this game also.
That one inside. You just see so much movement, and that one diving in towards the right-handed batter.
Which, I mean, that's what you see out of sidearm pitchers. You're able to do different things with your arm and put a different amount of twist, whether you come over the top or you come under the ball. And it causes a bunch of different things. And even if you're trying to throw it straight, it still turns so much.
See Nunez 1 for 3 today. The single back in the second inning. And 2 strikeouts after that. 2-1. Grounder foul. Five runs on 6 hits, 1 error for UCSB. USC with no runs on 4 hits, 1 error. That one getting away from the catcher, Elliott. And all of a sudden, an insurance run is 90 feet away for UC Santa Barbara.
And you talk about the movement being hard to hit as a hitter. It's not an easy thing to catch either when you have that ball diving as much as it does. That one started out toward the hands and ended up, I mean, didn't hit the plate, but it still got pretty close. That thing's moving a good couple of inches at the bare minimum.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That one popped in the air. Very shallow center. It is the center fielder, Dowd, making the catch. Too shallow to try and tag up and score the 6th run. And it'll still be a runner in scoring position.
Able to see just a good job out there in center field for Dowd to catch this ball while moving, eliminates any chances of a tag-up possibility. That's too far in shallow center there for really anybody to do that, especially McCollum. I mean, he's still quick, but there's no way you're able to get that.
Xavier Esquer says, I'll just knock in the run myself. Puts it into right center. The RBI single brings home the 6th run for the Gauchos.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily the biggest one on the score sheet necessarily, but it brings back a hit for him. He didn't get any hits in his last game out against Fresno State, and before that he had a 2-game hit streak, so just gets confidence back for him. Was hit by a pitch earlier in the day, got a walk, and then gets that hit now late in this game. Hopefully moves things on for him as they start up conference play pretty soon here.
Now a little bit of speed on the base paths for UCSB. With Esquer having a bit of attention being paid to. He's taking a pretty sizable lead off at first. Still 2 outs, though, as Harbor looks to end the inning and leave it to the bottom half for the bats, as that is a straight steal for Xavier Esquer.
Yeah, it looked like John Elliott got caught trying to put that pitch back into the strike zone and frame that one and didn't fully realize that Esquer was trying to steal there. I mean, Harbor did his best to try to keep him on, but still either way, and Elliott got caught a little bit. Esquer easily gets in there.
Oh, good pitch. Prompting a swing and a miss. And it's 1-1.
You talk about how much movement a sidearm pitcher can have. Just take a look at that one. Frame it and put it into a art gallery because that thing just keeps on going.
Harbor going back to that slider. Tailing away from Mendez, and it's 1-2.
That's starting in the middle. I mean, we were able to see that one even better. That started dead in the middle of the plate and ended halfway into the left-hander's batter's box.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball getting away from the catcher, Elliott, and with that, Esquer goes to third. So another runner at third for UC Santa Barbara in this inning. Another opportunity here for the top of the order. And this time it's Jonathan Mendez to drive in. Runner 90 feet away. 2-2. Oh, gets a hold of it, drives it to deep left field. That ball is gone. Driven deep into the night. And UC Santa Barbara goes up 8-0.
Home run 4 on the year for Mendez, and I think that one was a no-doubter. I'm pretty sure you guys heard everyone go, oh, in the stands here, because I certainly did almost. I had to stop myself. That ball was out of here in a hurry. You'll see it one more time. Yeah, that's a curveball that doesn't curve all that much, and it's just left kind of over that inside of the plate and over the A and the M in Loyola Marymount out there in deep left center field.
UC Santa Barbara just helping to build on that cushion going into the bottom of the ninth. Remember, USC will have 4, 5, and 6 due up to start the ninth. They will certainly need to bat around at least once to have a shot.
Got a lot of work out of them, but I mean, remember back to Valentine's Day on opening day for baseball, they put up 10 runs in the first inning, so they've done it before. Not saying it's the most likely thing of all time, but if you've done it once, you can try to do it twice.
This fly ball is to deep left field. It is off the Blue Monster. So a 2-out stand-up double as Jack Holman able to get his first hit a pretty loud way in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the power of the guy. I mean, I said he was a pull hitter. That one, he doesn't force anything. He's a smart hitter and knows, hey, I'll just be a little bit late on this one and push my hands out to it and just push it the other direction. I mean, you see how much power someone has if they're kind of just pushing it out toward the opposite side of the field, and they still put it against that wall, that blue mountain out there. But that's going to be the end of Harbor's day, and honestly, you could probably understand why. Only 21 pitches into it, gave up that home run, and then that other one where 80% up that blue mountain, almost another one just now, given up against Jack Holman.
That wall is about 130 feet high. The ball might have hit the very top of it, too. But it is a new pitcher on the mound now for USC. They bring in a left-hander, and it is Ben Cushney.
Yeah, that makes things a little bit interesting. I mean, he's a freshman out here from Santa Clarita, 6'2", and hasn't played so far this season, so it'll be fun to see really what he can give us in this game. He has a runner on to see of him. We saw him a little bit at West Ranch High School, but not fully sure what he has. He obviously has a pretty devastating curveball, but other than that, not a whole lot. Is Jack Holman putting his hands up? He's not really, I don't really understand what he's doing out there at second, but he isn't happy about something, even though his team's up 8-0 right now.
So the collegiate debut for Ben Cushney, as he comes in a spot where I think this is something that head coach Andy Stankiewicz wants to give his true freshman some experience and a shot to play and pitch against one of the top offenses you'll find on the West Coast. as he will have to face the middle of the order. He will have to face one guy that has maybe hit the ball the hardest in this one. Actually, I will correct myself. It is a new hitter for UC Santa Barbara. It's going to be Rowan Kelly coming in to pinch hit here.
Batting .500 so far this season out from Menlo Park in that San Francisco area. And went to Menlo Atherton High School as well. But batting .500 so far this year. Only struck out once. One hit, though, and 2 at-bats, so 1 for 2.
Kelly has been more of a pinch runner this year, and also a defensive replacement, so you can bet he will be out there in the outfield mostly. Has been a pretty adept fielder for them. Swing and a miss there. And a good strikeout in a collegiate debut. Ben Cushing. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for USC. 4, 5, and 6 are due up. Following this, 1 batter, 1 strikeout for Cushing, the true freshman.
Now ready for the substitute, first baseman, number 6, Dave Carpentier.
Dean Carpentier leading things off for USC. 4, 5, and 6 due up the bottom of the 9th. As a new arm on the mound for UC Santa Barbara is Chase Hoover, 6'1" junior. He is local to Santa Barbara, but he is a transfer from TCU.
I mean, you talk about someone who can close out a game. It's certainly him. He's kept opponents scoreless in 11 of 19 relief appearances last year, his sophomore year, and he only made 1 start, so another one of those guys that, I mean, the Gauchos, if they wanted to, they could throw him on the mound to start. He's certainly good in that area. Just another arm for Santa Barbara that's really just so talented, has movement, has speed, has it all, and is here to close out this game against the Trojans.
1-2 is flied out to right. DeAngelis able to make the play, and there is out number 1. I do want to kind of correct myself from a half an inning ago where we were talking about Kelly coming in as a pinch hitter. He was actually a defensive replacement a half inning before that. He is in left field right now. Did replace Isaac Kim. That means Holman, Jack Holman, who is in left field to start, is now at first base.
That's where we've normally seen him throughout the year, so back into a normal spot. He made a pretty good athletic play a while back, though, with that diving grab over his head. As we got a pinch hitter here for the Trojans.
Maximo Martinez, another true freshman, getting some work in on this Tuesday night. And how valuable is this experience for the younger players for USC and for UC Santa Barbara to get some play in?
Yeah, and Martinez he's a pinch hitter, but he also pitches a decent amount as well. He's a legitimate two-way prospect for this USC team. Freshman from Miracosta High School, so not too far away from here. And very talented shortstop, but pitching-wise, a mid-90s fastball. So someone on the mound that's definitely good. And a top 200 recruit nationally coming out of high school as well.
Oh, drives it to center field. And it is a single for Martinez. Martinez grew up in Hawthorne. That's not too far away from LMU. As that is a good one-out base hit for USC to get a base runner and see if they can mount a little rally here in the ninth.
Still a lot of the way to go, though, if you are the Trojans. Just because you get one doesn't mean you can lay back. You got to keep the press. Try to just stop the shutout. That's your first thing. It's never a good look when there's a donut on your side of the scoreboard. You always want to get at least one run up. And that's what they'll be trying to do in this bottom of the ninth inning.
Adrian Lopez back up. Speaking of singles, he had a single back in the 7th inning. This time, though, pops it up. Foul. It does drift out of play. Lopez looking to become bigger offensive contributors for USC this year, as he has been able to drive the ball the early parts of this season, using that big 6'4" frame, the sophomore.
Back in the 4th inning, he had one that was hit way out to deep left field. It was caught out there by Holman, who playing that different position as we've been talking about, but he showed off his power quite a bit, and he's someone that USC is somewhat relying on in the upcoming years. Only a sophomore, but he's a big dude, and he's looking to get better and more experience as the season goes off, as he'll take a seat after that one.
So all of a sudden, 2 outs, and UC Santa Barbara right on the cusp, closing this one out, getting a midweek win over USC. So we look back at that strikeout. So following this, another new hitter, Maddox Risky, 5'11" freshman from Las Vegas, another one. Being a true freshman coming in to pinch hit and play. Top 15 team. Something that he did on Saturday. He's able to come into play third base as he looks at ball 2.
Another one of those players that one of the top recruits and state champion out in Nevada at Bishop Gorman. You talk about powerhouse baseball teams, Bishop Gorman being one of them.
Flies it to deep left field. Back at the wall. Can't get it. Kelly will have to pick it up. And there is the first run of the ball game for the Trojans. An RBI double for the freshman Maddox Risky.
Yeah, that ball was hit pretty hard as well. You see why he's such a top recruit. As flies that one out way off the wall. And loads and fires, gets his hands quickly down on top of that ball, which, able to get a deep line drive out there. That ball was not really popped up at all. It was just hit really hard and got the barrel, able to get the double for the Trojans and more importantly, get their first run on the board. Stop the shutout from UCSB because 8-1 is a whole lot more respectable than an 8-0 game.
Avery Covarrubias back at the plate. And Covarrubias swinging and missing. Ball dipping down below the knees. All of a sudden, USC down to their last strike. That one misses. One ball, 2 strikes at the plate. Runner in scoring position again. USC able to break that proverbial seal back. Previous batter for the 9th inning, though, it was something that maybe we thought would happen all the way back in the 1st inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, SC certainly did look really good during that 1st inning, and kind of surprised me that they slowed down so much as the game went on. And only now in the 9th are they really picking things back up, which you can't do against a ranked team, especially a team like the Gauchos.
2-2. Strike 3 called, and that ends the game. 8-1, UC Santa Barbara able to get a midweek victory over USC. Trojans were able to score a run. Either way, both teams will now start to turn their attention to conference play.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what
Luciana.